From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. Governor Bullock announcing more help for Montana businesses today. A second payment of business stabilization grants will soon be available. And a new program will also help out live entertainment venues that have had the plug pulled because of the pandemic. Q2's David J. talked with some in the live entertainment business here in Billings.
The pub station has not had live entertainment since the COVID-19 closures.
There's a lot of businesses out there that say we're at 50, 60, 70% of where we were last year. I mean, we're not even at 5%.
Sean Lynch and his wife own the pub station, and he says grants will keep the business going into the second quarter of 2021.
This is a lifeline for us. I didn't want to turn the pub station into condos. We want to continue to be able to provide live entertainment to Billings, Montana, because that's what we do best.
Sean Lynch worked with the governor on the plan that gives grant money to businesses with live entertainment. And part of the requirement is that 33% of the revenue from last year has to be from ticket sales.
From April to the end of June, we're 112% down because of ticket refunds. So not only have we not been taking any income, but we've been paying out a tremendous amount in refunds as well.
Metro Park Management has not yet decided on applying for the grants.
We got to dig in to make sure that we're not exempt because we're a government or a county entity. We make all of the other thresholds for lost revenue and the percentage of revenue that we're still operating at compared to 2019 a year ago.
Tim Goodridge, Metro Park Assistant General Manager, says shows rely on crowds.
It's the energy of the crowd that really elevates the experience to something special.
We rely on large gatherings, and with social distancing, which I completely support, it's not viable to bring in a concert.
Alberta Bear Theater Executive Director Jan Dietrich says renovation is on schedule and the fall reopening has been postponed.
We don't have a date yet that we can reopen.
Safety is the most important thing in our business, and it has been well prior to COVID.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Well, Sean Lynch estimates that about 30 live entertainment venues in Montana may be eligible for those grants. Governor Bullock also announcing at that news conference today that he's making face masks a requirement for all schools and universities, both public and private, in counties that have 4 or more COVID-19 cases. Now, the governor said there are 2 ways to get to phase 3, which is essentially normal. One with a vaccine, the other with Montanans acknowledging the risk and working collectively to mitigate it. And he says not everyone is doing that, pointing to Phillips County, where cases quickly went from 0 to 68 in 1 week.
It wasn't from a bunch of different folks bringing the virus in. It's from an adult sports activity, followed by an outing to the bar, and then events afterwards. Those other social events, county fairs, other things where the virus spreads among different social circles. An example, too, where we haven't learned how to live with the virus in our presence is following the requests of public health when it comes to quarantining and isolating. Learning to live with the virus in our presence means respecting that our public health officials, are working damn hard to try to protect all of us.
Well, the state is reporting another big jump in new coronavirus cases, particularly here in Yellowstone County. The state reported 3 new deaths and 175 new cases today, the highest number of cases, 75, coming from here in Yellowstone County. Riverstone Health tells us those new positives were from tests, though, that were conducted from August 1st through the 10th that did not get reported at the time because of an error. Bighorn County added another 12 cases tonight on top of that 175. Hospitalizations are also on the rise, going from 77 to 97. The total number of COVID-19 cases across the state is more than 5,300, but remains a very small fraction of our entire population. And Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon announced today he'll ease restrictions on the size of outdoor gatherings beginning on Sunday. That order will allow outdoor gatherings of no more than 50% of venue capacity with a maximum of 1,000 people as long as social distancing and increased sanitation measures are in place. Voters are getting their first look at the 2020 Democratic presidential ticket. A day after former Vice President Joe Biden announced California Senator Kamala Harris as his VP pick. The two appeared at a campaign event in Delaware. Natalie Brand has more.
for the first time, your next Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris. Kamala?
Joe Biden publicly introduced Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate at a campaign event in Delaware.
This is a moment of real consequence for America. Everything we care about, our economy, our health, our children, the kind of country we live in, it's all on the line.
Harris, in her first speech as the vice presidential pick, alternated between making a case for the new Democratic ticket and attacking the incumbent.
America is crying out for leadership. Yet we have a president who cares more about himself than the people who elected him.
President Trump, punching back, has pointed to Harris's short-lived primary bid and has noted her past critiques of Biden.
Generally speaking, you don't want to pick somebody that went down. She went down, but she went down in a very terrible way, and she said horrible things about Biden. She said far worse about Biden than I ever did.
Wednesday's event took place at a high school near Biden's Delaware home. Supporters here cheered his historic pick.
We are just ecstatic, and we think he has chosen the best candidate that he could have.
Being a woman, a person of color, and younger, and also from California, right? I think she's going to motivate a lot of people who maybe would sit this one out.
Senator Harris is the first black woman and first South Asian American woman to appear on a major party presidential ticket. And at 55 years old, she's more than 2 decades younger than Biden, who, if elected, would be the oldest president in history. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Well, Senator Harris and former Vice President Biden are hosting a virtual campaign fundraiser this evening in Wilmington. Biden said his campaign had raised $26 million in the last 25 hours. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. And Bob, wildfires popping up around the West right now. How's it looking for us?
Well, we're looking okay at the moment, but let me show you what's happening down in Southern California. You're looking at a big wildfire that started this afternoon in the Angeles National Forest down there just outside of Los Angeles. And look at this. This fire, I guess it engulfed like several thousand acres in about 2 hours. And so they are very dry like we are. And so the good news here in Montana is, well, our red flag warning has actually expired. They actually canceled it a little ahead of time because we no longer have the high temperatures. We no longer have the high winds, and the humidity's gone up, and that's what's happening in Montana. In northern Wyoming, we still have the red flag warning until probably tomorrow night because they still have high winds, low humidity, and also warm temperatures. But take a look at this. Look at all the smoke down there in Los Angeles and also down by San Diego. Look at the big smoke plumes. And then back up here in Montana, we've got big fires from northern California kind of wafting all the way in towards Montana. And here in Montana, we've got some big fires ourselves, and it's causing a lot of smoke on the eastern edge of the state. We'll have your forecast in a few more minutes. Russ?
All right, thank you, Bob. More Billings students have enrolled in remote learning classes for the upcoming school year. This after the deadline for parents to choose either remote or in-person school was moved back to August 14th. Q2's Mitch Legge brings us an update.
As of Tuesday, about 2,000 Billings students are signed up to be distance learners in the upcoming school year, much less than the 5,000 originally predicted by the district earlier in the summer. Billings School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham said Wednesday that the staff requests for distance learning are matching up with student needs.
We can accommodate the majority of our staff that have requested remote. Now, that being said, I won't know that until early next week. We are prepared after Friday night to be able to see if the licensure matches up with the students that have requested remote.
Of the 2,000 remote students, Upham said they average about 140 students per grade level in kindergarten through 12th grades. The district is in good shape as far as technology to hand out to those students learning at home. Upham said they ordered more devices earlier in the year and are waiting on shipping.
Now, that doesn't mean that we may need extra ones, but I'm not hearing anything from our people right now that we are concerned about any of our orders. We ordered a long time ago. And so now that doesn't mean to say that someone could call today at 11 o'clock and say, oh, by the way, your order's on back order. I mean, saying it out loud scares me, right? But I think we're okay for right now.
Parents have until Friday to decide whether their student will learn at home or in the traditional classroom for the entire year. Upham said the district will try to be flexible with schedule movement, but at the end of the day, flexibility comes down to class size attached to state accreditation.
If there are 30 social studies students in a classroom, and that's accreditation standards, then we can't put 31 in. We will do our best to staff these class sizes so that we have some flexibility. But that being said, parents need to know that they need to get this completed as soon as possible. We'll do our best, but at some point in time, we will have to say yes or no.
In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
Thanks, Mitch. The district has plenty of information about reopening available on its website, including what the school day will look like for a remote learner. To find that, you can visit billingschools.org. The Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services recommends people get a flu shot during September or October this year. Influenza vaccines are now appearing at pharmacies in Montana with no immediate end in sight for the COVID pandemic. Health experts say it's more important than ever to get your flu shot. Any flu season has the chance of stressing the healthcare system with related hospitalizations, but combined with COVID-19, it could possibly overburden healthcare workers. DPHHS says anyone over 6 months old should get their flu shot this year if they're able to. The state provides assistance for qualifying families to get children vaccinated at no cost. Well, a large sinkhole greeted commuters this morning in the Billings Heights. A 12-inch water main broke, leaving a massive hole in the pavement at Main Street and Hilltop Road. Main Street going eastbound will continue to be down to one lane around that site. Crews do hope to have everything back to normal by next Wednesday. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2 Harvest Time. We're going to check in with Molson Coors as they're in the midst of another great year. And in sports, position switch, we'll hear from a former MSU defensive end who's trying to live out his NFL dream as a tight end.